Well, hello again, folks. My question is, are you ready for a case study about handling effects when front of house is also monitor world? I think you're ready. I really think you are. I think you're ready for that. So, let's take a look. Let's say that a band has a new mixing console, one of those digital rigs in a box that have come on the scene. The musicians call you in because they need some help getting their monitors dialed up. At some point, the players ask for effects in the monitors. The vocals are too dry and some reverb would be nice. So you crank up an effects send with a reverb inserted on the appropriate bus, and nothing happens. You then remember that this is meant to be a basic setup, with one console handling both FOH and monitors. Your inputs from the band use pre-fader sends for monitor world, but post-fader sends for effects. Since you weren't building a mix for front of house, all your faders were all the way down. You don't know where they would be for a real front of house mix anyway. If the faders are down, a post-fader send can't get any signal to an FX bus. Now, you typically don't want the monitors to track every level tweak made for front of house, but you do want the FX sends to be dependent on fader position. Otherwise, the wet to dry ratio would change with every fader adjustment. So what do? You can square the circle if you can change the pre-post send configuration to the effects buses, and if you can also have two reverbs. Reverb 1 becomes the monitor reverb. The sends to that reverb are configured to be pre-fader, so that you don't have to guess at a fader level. The sends from the reverb return channel should also be pre-fader, so that the monitor reverb doesn't end up in the main mix. Reverb 2 is then set up to be the front of house reverb. The sends to this reverb from the channels are configured as post-fader. Reverb 2, unlike Reverb 1, should have output that's dependent on the channel fader position. Reverb 2 is, of course, kept out of the monitor mixes. With a setup like this, you don't need to know the front of house mix in advance in order to dial up effects in the monitors. There is the small downside of having to chew up two effects processors, but that's not a huge problem if it means getting the players what they need for the best performance. Thanks for watching another video. Remember, you can support me on Patreon.